Choosing a niche feels stressful for many people. It shows up as confusion, hesitation, or a strange feeling that nothing sits right. This happens long before you even reach the point of picking something. In this video, we are going to look at the biggest mistake people make when choosing a niche, and why this mistake makes the whole process feel harder than it needs to be. I spent a long time trying to pick a niche the wrong way, even though I didn't know it at the time. Whenever an idea crossed my mind, I would write it down and convince myself it had potential. It looked fine on paper, so I assumed it was worth exploring. The problem showed up only when I tried to build something around it. I would sit down to work and the direction wasn't there. I couldn't see what to say, who I was speaking to, or how the pieces were supposed to fit together. The idea felt empty the moment I tried to use it. At first, I blamed motivation. Then I blamed discipline. But neither was the issue. The real problem was that I had chosen ideas without understanding the people behind them. And without that connection, nothing moved. It took me a while to realize that the confusion I felt didn't come from a lack of effort. It came from choosing a starting point that gave me no clarity. The biggest mistake people make when choosing a niche is starting with a topic. It feels like the logical place to begin, so most of us do it without thinking. We pick an idea that sounds interesting, familiar, or practical, and assume it's enough to build on. The issue is that a topic doesn't give you much to work with. It doesn't show you who you're talking to or what their day looks like. It doesn't reveal their problems, their questions, or the situations they're trying to navigate. So when you try to create something around that idea, the direction isn't there. You're left trying to move forward without anything solid to guide you. This is why so many people stall. They're trying to build a niche on top of an idea that isn't connected to anyone's real life. When you begin with a topic, things feel uncertain because there's nothing specific pulling your focus. You want to move forward, but the direction never becomes clear, and the effort starts to feel unfocused. That happens because a topic doesn't give your mind a clear sense of who the work is for. Without a real person in view, every decision turns into guesswork. You're trying to decide what to say and where to go without knowing who you're speaking to. When that reference point is missing, doubt shows up naturally. It's easy to question your choice and wonder whether you picked the wrong niche, even though the real issue sits much earlier in the process. The confusion isn't a sign that you failed or made a bad decision. It simply means the starting point didn't give you enough clarity to move forward with confidence. A clearer way to choose a niche is to focus on the person you want to help. Once you picture someone specific, it becomes easier to understand what deserves your attention. You can see what they deal with, the situations they go through, and the moments where a bit of guidance would make a difference. When those things come into view, ideas stop feeling scattered. You begin to notice what you can talk about with ease and what doesn't fit you. That sense of direction appears naturally, without forcing anything or trying to guess what might work. This approach takes the pressure out of the process. You're working from something real, not from a list of topics. The path feels steady and moving forward doesn't carry the same weight. It's normal to feel unsure when you're choosing a niche. Most people go through that stage. Once you focus on the person behind the niche, things get clearer. The work feels lighter and the next step becomes easier to take. You don't need to figure out the whole path today. A small, steady beginning is enough. If this way of thinking about a niche feels new and you want to understand why the decision often feels confusing, even when you put in the effort, Watch this video on why people struggle to pick a niche. It will help you see what has been happening underneath the hesitation, so you can move forward with more confidence.